The night Daniel found the twins, rain was stitching the darkness together in thin silver lines, and the city felt like it was holding its breath. He almost drove past the bus stop, almost. His eyes were tired from a double shift, his hands aching from gripping a steering wheel that had become his second home since his wife died. But something made him slow down. Two tiny figures sat on the cold metal bench, knees pulled to their chests, hair plastered to their faces, clutching a single pink backpack between them like it was a life raft. They couldn't have been more than 6 years old. When Daniel rolled down his window and asked if they were okay, the girls looked up at him with the same eyes, wide, scared, and painfully hopeful, and in that moment, his life quietly changed forever. If you've ever wondered how a single choice can rewrite a destiny, stay with this story till the very end. And if stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us share more real, emotional journeys like this one. Their names were Lily and Luna, twins, 6 years old, left behind by a stepmother who promised she'd be right back and never returned. They had been waiting for hours, maybe longer, counting cars, holding hands, whispering plans about what they'd do when she came back. Daniel wrapped his jacket around them and felt something crack open inside his chest. He called the police, waited with them, bought them hot chocolate from a nearby kiosk, and listened as they told him their story in broken sentences. Their father had died the year before. Their stepmom didn't want them anymore. She said we were too much, Luna whispered. Daniel knew that feeling well. Life had told him the same thing more times than he could count. Daniel wasn't a hero. He was a warehouse supervisor barely keeping his head above water, a single dad to an 8-year-old son named Noah, still learning how to live with grief. His days were predictable, heavy, and lonely. He thought he understood struggle until he saw it in the form of two small girls who flinched at loud noises and asked permission before taking a sip of their drink. When child services asked if he could foster them temporarily, just for a few nights, Daniel hesitated. He thought of the bills stacked on his kitchen table, the empty chair at dinner, the quiet that followed him everywhere. Then Lily reached for his hand, not even looking at him, just needing something solid to hold onto. Okay, he said, before fear could stop him. The first night was chaos. Noah stared at the twins like they had fallen from the sky. The girls cried in their sleep. Daniel burned dinner. Nobody knew where to sit or what to say. But somewhere between shared cereal at midnight and 3 kids squeezed onto one couch watching cartoons, something unfamiliar crept into that small apartment. Warmth, noise, life. Daniel lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, realizing that the silence he thought he needed was never what he was missing. Temporary turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The stepmom never answered calls. Paperwork piled up. Daniel learned how to braid hair with shaky fingers, how to tell Lily and Luna apart by the tiny freckle on Luna's nose, how to calm night terrors by sitting on the floor and singing softly even though he hated his voice. He learned that Lily loved drawing suns with smiling faces, and Luna counted steps wherever she went. He learned that both girls hated being left alone, even for a minute. Money became tighter. Daniel sold his old guitar. He worked overtime until his back screamed. Some nights he wondered if he had made a mistake. He worried he wasn't enough, not patient enough, not rich enough, not strong enough. But every morning, 2 small arms wrapped around his legs while Noah pretended not to smile, and the doubt softened, just a little. The biggest challenge came when child services told him another family was interested in adopting the twins. A stable couple, they said, better resources, bigger house. Daniel nodded and thanked them, then sat in his car and cried so hard he couldn't breathe. That night, Lily asked if she and Luna were going away again. Daniel tried to lie. He couldn't. I don't know, he said. Luna climbed into his lap, something she rarely did. We'll be okay if you aren't, she whispered, like she was comforting him instead. That was the moment Daniel realized the truth he had been too afraid to say out loud. He didn't just save these girls, they saved him. From drowning in grief, from becoming a ghost in his own life, from forgetting how to hope. He fought. He filled out forms at 2 in the morning. He attended parenting classes after 12-hour shifts. He stood in court wearing his only suit, hands shaking, heart pounding, and told the judge he didn't have much to offer except love, safety, and a promise to never walk away. The room was silent. Lily and Luna sat behind him, feet swinging, fingers crossed so tight their knuckles turned white. When the judge granted the adoption, Luna didn't cheer. She just leaned against Daniel's back and sighed, like she had finally set down something heavy she'd been carrying for a long time. Lily smiled so wide it looked like it might split her face in two. Noah punched the air like his favorite team had just won. Life didn't suddenly become easy. The bills still came. The twins still had scars you couldn't see. Daniel still had days when exhaustion swallowed him whole. But now, every morning started with laughter echoing down the hallway. Every evening ended with 3 kids arguing over bedtime stories. Daniel stopped counting what he'd lost and started noticing what he'd gained. Years later, Daniel would watch Lily and Luna walk into school, backpacks bouncing, confidence in their step, and he'd think about that rainy night at the bus stop. He'd think about how close he came to driving past, how miracles don't always arrive wrapped in light, but sometimes soaked, shivering, and waiting to be noticed. And the twins, they never remembered the stepmom who left them. What they remembered was the man who stopped, the man who stayed, the man who became their everyday miracle without even realizing it. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that kindness can change lives in ways we never expect, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us share more stories that inspire hope, resilience, and the quiet power of choosing to care. Because sometimes, saving someone else is how we save ourselves.